Continuing with the laws of what happens when you leave shul a little bit early. Ideally, we saw the Shulchan Aruch, which says that you should leave the tefillin on until the last kedusha, and we see right now that the Mishnah Berurah mentions that you should really try and leave it until alken nekavel lecha. That's based on the result that the Mishnah Berurah quotes. B'yom sheyesh bo milah. But if there's a brit milah in shul, leave your tefillin on until after the bris. Why? Ki milah he owes for tefillin he owes. Okay. Now, what was that?
You should take them off.
Because
Shabbos, you don't want to.
Oh, okay, two osos at the same time. Yeah. No, but it's like if you're having an os. No, you're supposed to have two always at the same time. You have your own. No, it's bris milah, Shabbos tefillin with three os.
Yeah.
But you always do bris milah, meaning like.
Wait, what? Oh,
like. You're always maho.
Okay.
So the idea is that since you're in the state of, so you always have bris milah. That's one os. Okay. Second os is Shabbos. So you don't need the third os of tefillin. Whereas when there's bris, you're not adding additional os. It's because you're in the status of an os.
What's wrong with having a third one?
You shouldn't have three. You shouldn't have three at the same time.
Or what's the idea of that?
They say that three at the same time. It's as if you shouldn't have three at the same time. What's wrong with that? Yeah, that's not the real reason. The reason of why don't we wear tefillin on Shabbos?
It's not those.
It is the os, but there's a second reason. There's more than one reason that's given. One is the os, that you can have meaning. Do you need more than two signs to remind you of the relationship between God and the Jewish people? So he says you don't need three reminders. You only need two reminders. Okay. You shouldn't have three. Is three showing the Trinity? I don't know. Three showing that. Well, it's a good question.
I think they had tefillin Shabbos issues before the Trinity.
Yeah. They always get tefillin off for Shabbos. It's a Mishnah. It talks about you're wearing your tefillin. Penach Mashal has got to take the tefillin off for Shabbos. But never wore tefillin on Shabbos.
But it's not even that. It is muksa.
The question is, what level of muksa is it? It's a whole question of halacha. Is muksa machmas mitzvah? Right? Is it muksa because you can't wear the tefillin? Is it muksa because it's an expensive item? And since it's an expensive item, right? What level of muksa is it? Is it like a higher level of muksa, like 8 siman avanim, or is it a lower level of muksa?
It makes a difference if it's inherently muksa.
Well, yeah, because if it's like an 8 siman avanim, then you can never use it. You can't move it for the tzarach makomo, or tzarach kufo. Yeah. Right? If it's a lower level of moksa, then you'll be allowed to move it. That's when it becomes on a gufa. So, I think we're generally speaking, from what I understand, we're Jamaica and you can't move it. Meaning, what's the nafkamina? You hear your tellus bag, and you find your tefillin there. Can you move your tefillin out or not? Can you do it? Shalosh kedushos. Ta'us soferhu. Here's the ta'us that the Mishnah Berurah mentioned. I referenced it before. Lemet tzarich lomar shalosh kadeshim v'arba kedushos. Here we go. So there's nothing to do with kedushas, but it has to do with kadishes. So we see that if you should have your tefillin on for 3 kadishes and 4 kedushos. Why? Ki baruch Hashem nechshav chada. So even though we counted 3, we saw there's only 3 kedushas. No, there's a 4th kedusha, and that's baruch. So the first kedusha is b'vay shema, classic kedusha, baruch, and the one at the end by Votzion. Yeah.
Oh, before. Okay. Wait, before.
You need. Yeah.
So if you miss Kaddish, then...
So then I have it on for last, but ideally that's what you're supposed to have. That's what he says.
There's no,
But then he counts them out. Right, no, you feel your obligation by wearing tefillin, but you wear tefillin for a couple minutes.
It's always on the minhag, no?
Yeah, it's always the minhag. Yeah. Mikara din, you filled your mitzvah with tefillin, there's no question. Kedusha tzafa berura, shniyav kedusha, amida kedusha, vatzon shlosh kedashim hu, chatzi kaddish, shekodem baruchu, v'chatzi kaddish shachar tefillat yerchet, v'kaddish shalim achar v'atzion. So, you see, those are the 3 kaddishes. He's not even counting the 2 kaddishes that are recited by Mizmor Shir and Rabbi Shmuel. Okay? Mikom Makom Mashma, the Prima Gadim V'Shari Acharonim, the Makom Shnar Gulomar Kaddish Yatum B'chol 8 Achar Aleinu Tosh Lolochat Ad Achar Kaddish Yatum. Right? So wait until that Kaddish Yatum. Now we've already done a Kaddish Yatum by Rabbi Shmuel. Sorry, Kaddish Rabbanan. We've already done a Kaddish Yatum by Mizmor Shir. At least Nusach Ashkenaz is done already. V'Anashim Shnagim LeKaf Al Talit V'Tfilin Anicham B'T Tikkun be'eit amirat kaddish lo yafe henosim. Some people do it in the middle of kaddish; it's not appropriate. The me'od yesh lechavim b'niyat amin heishmi rabba. You shouldn't be wrapping your tefillin during kaddish. You gotta say heishmi rabba. You gotta respond properly. It's distracting, right? And he quotes an earlier simon. V'od yesh v'amin yesh mi Rabbi. The Madrega Gavoa Yoter Kedusha. People don't realize this. The Haitian rabbis, even when it comes to Kedusha, everyone goes, oh, no one would ever talk during Kedusha. Right? You see everyone stop everything. It's Kedusha. But in Kaddish, people are often more lackadaisical. We'll wander, we'll schmooze, we'll do whatever. And he says, no, the opposite. The Haitian rabbi is even more important.
I guess because Kedusha, everyone's like standing, so like.
Right. Well, it's also a matter of frequency. The big Kedusha, you only do it once. Whereas Kaddish, 4, 5, 6 times. The things that are usually done more often, people become usually more lackadaisical about it. Even the halacha, that's not the case. Uvada lo gara mishar brachos rabbanon, that's what lasos afilu tashmish kol pashash mevarach. So really, you should be very careful when you do that. Okay, let's just finish up. Also, the matzim is the knesset kodem Kedusha, the sidra, before Valatzion. And in fact, if they're reciting Valatzion, you're not to leave the shul. If you're going to leave shul, you should do it before Valatzion, not in the middle of Valatzion. Says in Mishabura, Dekevon Olam Mitkayim Al Zeh Tzarich Lizar Mizal Zalba. You shouldn't walk in the middle of this Kedusha of Valatzion. It is a zilzul. Okay. The Piskei Tshuva actually mentions there's something interesting. You should obviously nothing. He doesn't add here. Go to the end. He ends off by saying that bottom paragraph. Lachein Yira Adam Lahar Gilad Simel Lishar Beit HaKnesset Ad Gemar Kol Tefillah V'Kadishim. We should go to a minyan that will allow you to stay to the end. If you're going to need to leave minyan earlier, so go to the minyan. Right? We have that option. It's not like some communities has one minyan. You're stuck. You have no choice. This is a shul that has a lot of options. Go to the minyan. Zulat Bakrai. Obviously, if once in a while Machamat Siba Nechutza, you have a reason. Right? I have carpool on Tuesday mornings, so it depends. Depends on who davens. If when I drive my Darchik Torah carpool, so if a guy davens at a fairly decent pace, I'm usually okay. But if it's a guy who's elongating to feel a little bit, usually I gotta book out a little bit early.
The 6:30 minute, so like a regular guy is still fast, and like a fast guy's like.
So no, the truth is it all depends on who davens. No, we've had it used to be that only guys, not anymore. They changed that.
Oh.
They changed it. There's just so there were a bunch of guys who were not regulars, who were available, and they just couldn't all of them. They can't daven, so they started coming, and they daven usually slower than the usual pace of that.
Yeah, just because you're a chazan doesn't mean you're automatically a chazan. So.
Right. Guys also can't chazan. The shots take long, can't read the words properly. Sometimes Ray Kropkin actually comes to early minyan, so that's by Shema that could add another minute. Right? Let me tell you, a minute for those guys. Some guys go crazy. Okay.
Brutal.
No question about it. So again, but if you have to do it once in a while, that's okay. Once in a while is fine to leave early, but kavua, you should go to minyan that you have to leave early. Now, you're going to tell me, listen, I'm not going to wake up earlier, or I'm going to. So then what are the options? Okay, obviously it's better to leave earlier, you know what I mean, than not go to minyan. But really a person should definitely try to go to minyan that they could actually stay around till the end. And again, the Al Yosef, Otam Haduchakim Zed Zed, Lamar, let's say the Knesset guys who run out of shul, Lo Yafem Osim, Shemarim Bizakilu Shaitim, but the Knesset Hilahem Torach. People, otherwise it's like a Torach, and that's not appropriate to do, but rather you should leave shul benachat. Choshekin Otam Shebitchilat Alinu L'Shabeach Yotzim. I think I made a joke before that some people think L'Shabeach is related to the Derech, right? Omrim Alinu L'Shabeach Derech Halicha, they start, saying Alinu as they're walking out. O Otam Yotzim Kodem Gemar Tfilah Zulatem Emarim L'Shir, the Torah, to bring out the Shir, that's okay. I've never seen that before. That must be a Sephardic thing. I've never seen Ashkenazim ever say Aleinu, only Shal Tzibor, and said slowly out loud. That I've never seen. But again, we see here, again, if people have to leave, you have to leave. It's not ideal. You should really, really, really try to stick around for Valatzion, Tefillin until V'al Nekaveh. Those are ideal. Obviously, Mikaradin, however, once you said your Shenesrei, you really could take your tefillin off if you really need to jet out. Clearly better to be a minyan than to daven at home, even if it means you have to jet out earlier. But really, ideally, why don't you try to go to minyan where you can make it until the end. Okay, shkoyach everybody. Sure.